Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Standing Eight podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Soria from Los Angeles. With me, one of the usual suspects, Stephen Ruiz of Ringside Global out in Dallas. Um, with no further ado, we're truly honored to have on very special guest for episode 99, 17-time national champion, member of the 2018, 19, 20, and 21 Team USA rosters, the one and only Joel Iriarte. How are you doing today, sir?
What's up, guys? What's up? Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for having me on the show. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing today?
Great, great. Again, we're very honored to have you on. So, I want to take it back to the beginning. So you're 20 years old right now. You started at age 5. Born in Woodland Hills, but raised in Bakersfield. Um, your original trainer was the late coach Joe Cardenas, rest in peace, of Refuse to Lose Boxing Gym out in Bakersfield. He was the one who took you in at age 5. And I read somewhere that at first he was unwilling to take prospects younger than 8. How were you able to convince him otherwise?
Yeah, well, I started with my first coach, Jose Cardona, has now passed away. My dad and him were really good friends.
Mm.
And he had actually, my dad took me with him first at 5 years old. And he was like, you know what, I'm not really, I'm not training any guys under than 8 years old because at that age, at 8 years old, you're able to compete, you're able to fight, you're kind of a little bit uh, you're a little bit more self-aware and able to kind of decide if you actually want to continue boxing and not. So but at early 5 they took me, and then later on in the year, right before I turned 6, I was persistent and I had kept asking if I could go again. So later on that year I went again. And at that time, he was just like, you know what? Go ahead, have him just start hitting the bags, have him, jumping rope, doing, little movements and stuff like that. And they were like, have him just start, and then he'll kind of fall off if it's not for him. And at that point, I kind of was just like consistent, and I'm glad he kind of just let me in and let me start early. So that was good. It was just kind of just a thing that he just accepted it. He was like, let's just go ahead, have him come in.
So it's pretty cool. So you kind of felt that he thought that you pretty much kind of ahead of schedule. Would that be kind of accurate to say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he would. I guess so. I was always a little bit taller. I'm 6'1".
Mm.
So yeah, at 8 years old, I was a pretty tall 8-year-old. I was always pretty tall. So I mean, he thought I was big enough, a little strong enough to start. So I guess so.
And unfortunately, he passed away at at age 11. Within those roughly 6 years of you working together, what was one piece of advice that he laid on you that still sticks to you to this day?
Yeah, I mean, he was. I want to say I was a little kid that was always real shy, real timid. I
Mm.
was a good kid. I was, always trying to do good in school. Um, I don't know. I guess you would have never thought that I really would have boxed. Everyone was like, you look like a soccer player or something. A really nice kid and teacher's pet all the time. So he kind of always instilled in me, like the not the aggressiveness, but just the confidence in me to just scale up, in my career and be successful all these years. It's because he's always pushed me to be uncomfortable. He would, if I would be like, "Hey coach, who are we sparring today?" Or "Hey coach, who are we fighting?" Or "Hey coach, what weight am I fighting at?" Or "Hey coach, like just little things like that." He would always be like, "Man, don't worry, you're fighting King Kong. Like get ready to fight. Get ready to rumble in the jungle." He made like always little funny comments and little things like that. I always remember him telling me because those were always little confidence boosters, and all the time he would always tell me, you're a natural fighter, just work hard, keep working hard, just keep being consistent. And thankfully, because of his advice and his mentorship, he was like a second father to me as well. So I was pretty bummed out when it was a very sad moment when he passed away. But those are some of the things that coaches instill into their athletes for sure.
I kind of envision when you two were together, you kind of like you were so excited, you kind of like wanted to fast track and go on to the next scene really quick, but he was like, slow down, take it one at a time. You got your obviously you got your whole life ahead of you. Is that kind of accurate? How we viewed you?
Yeah, for sure. I would, I mean, yes, you're young, and I've always been a good learner. I've always wanted to even right now, you want to fight the best and you want to get better. And he would throw me in the ring. I was 8 years old, and I was fighting like 13-year-olds, heavier guys. And so yes, he would see that eagerness to always want to do better. And at points he would throw me in there to with the bigger guys and the stronger guys, the faster guys, to learn more and learn quicker. But yeah, sure enough, he was always like, you know what, we always have to work on this. And if I, just little things like that, he would always, have me come back to the foundations if I wanted, because at points he would only have me work on straight punches, because it was like, we got to keep the foundations, everything,
Mm.
bring it down to the basics, foundations. So sure enough, he kind of always had me grounded for sure.
Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna continue with my questions, but I'll let Stephen Ruiz chime in. I'm sure he has some good questions for you. So go ahead, Stephen.
No, I was going to say, pleasure to have you here, Joel. Glad you could join us. Obviously, with you're on ES News with Ellie Seckback, and so the talent is recognized, which is super awesome. Anytime your hard work since you've been five starts to manifest into what you've always known it could be, what your coach always knew what it could be, and now you have all these suitors that are trying to get you to sign with them, and the sky's the limit for you. Something I really liked about what you had is you're young but you're wise, to where you stay grounded and humbled. And one thing I think I really liked about that was your work with A League of Dreams. So when I found out about that and all that you do with them, I was like, that's kind of probably where, with the way he's raised, what's keeping him grounded, making sure that you don't get too high too fast, because that happens in highly touted prospects all the time. Before you know it, you've got the new player outfit, which is the blinged out chains, the car, the house, and everything that comes with it, because that is what you worked hard for. However, you got to remember it's the grind that's paying for that, and it's the grind that's going to continue that. So I just want to say shout out first and foremost before I even get going with your boxing, and just say personally your stuff with the League of Dreams, doing that every Saturday, because that's a time commitment. But man, that's something so much bigger than boxing, where those kids are going to light up, and you might be the best thing that they see all week. And when those kids have that kind of mentor in their lives, just like how you had when you were five, the sky's the limit to learning new achievements, growth, and so many things. So first and foremost, for you being a stellar person outside the boxing ring. But of course, inside the boxing ring, like you said, you're a killer. So you could be nice as Sunday morning, but then the bells rings, and I watched that sparring, and it was amazing. So first and foremost, what are some things that you really like about boxing? Because it sounded like your coach kind of broke you out of that shell, especially when you were trying to be the Karate Kid. I heard that story too. When it's like, the dojo was closed, but the boxing ring eventually opened its doors, and it's just funny how certain things can come to pass. You know what I mean? Because no doubt you would have been successful if you would have gotten into karate, but you're in boxing, and that's just the way it shook out. So what are some of those things that would you say that your coach, your father have taught you, besides work ethic? Because I saw that what he does as far as when he wakes up, he goes to work, the drive, the commute, just to come home and start his day, go to training, eat when he can, just to start it all again. So I've just been super impressed in your backstory, and if you want to explain way better than I can, but just know that all that's playing out to the public eye. We can see it, and when you talk about it, it's just creating fans every time you talk.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You've touched on a lot of good points. You kind of gave a general summary of some of the most interesting parts of my life. I appreciate you, recognizing the stuff that I do outside of the boxing ring, And I want to say half of it's the majority of it's because of my parents. They've always, they're Hispanic, and my dad's hardworking. My mom's super hardworking. Super caring. My mom stayed at home, raised us. Obviously, she was a stay-at-home mom. And my dad had long days at work. He was always in the gym, growing with me. When my coach passed away, my dad, took me into, his training and stuff like that. I trained with him. All my nationals, all my internationals, everything that I have, all my accolades are with him. So, we've kind of been growing together, and obviously everything that I do outside the ring has been because I've been able to see his hard work. Yeah, I mean, I love training the League of Dreams. League of Dreams for me is one of those things that I do because of passion. We go out there, we volunteer our time, and obviously, I mean, it's a great feeling. And some of those kids I even see during the week, in between my rest time, before or after training. Before or after training, I go and I have some kids that I'm able to see during the week because that Saturday they're just like, what, I can't wait to see Coach Joel until next Saturday. So let's get a couple sessions in. So I have a couple of kids with disability that I still train during the week, and I mean, I just love it. Over time, that progression, it goes from once a week to 2 times a week to 3 times a week. Sometimes I have, and just the progression has come a long way. Just mobility, them being, happy to come in the gym, going home and being like, I had a great day after training, or if they were having a bad day before they came in, once they're done training, it just changes up their mood. And that's just, it's a passion of mine. It's great. And I mean, it's been good. This boxing stuff, it's unraveling. It's taken some time from going to amateurs into the professional game. And we were talking about all the little things: being good outside the ring, being good inside the ring, having that balance in life is kind of all what has molded me into kind of like the person that I am today. And it's the flashy stuff, the money, the cars, the blingage, all that you were mentioning. For an athlete, it really doesn't matter to me because I have enough balance in my life. I have passion. I have things that I look forward to doing every day that's worth more than money could buy, for sure. I have things in my life that have taught me and molded me to kind of just grow and be a better person overall. And that's just what I wake up to do every day. I love boxing. I love doing this, and it's just the perfect balance. And that's kind of the way that I look at it. Does that make sense?
And no, it's perfect because at 20 years old, you're so wise, and we see so many, not just boxers, but we see so many athletes, so young, so talented that fall into the trap, right? But when you stay humbled and grounded, and you have great parents like you have that you can continue to look at, it reminds you and it keeps you down to earth on why we keep going to the gym and why we keep punching in that clock. As a parent myself, and when you say those things, it just even motivates myself because I work nights, come home, watch the kiddos, and we try and do as much as we can to show that yeah, I just worked 8, 10, 12 hours, but that has nothing to do with my kids. They don't know that. So just like your father did, he's gonna say, all right, it's like I just woke up, let's go to the gym, because that's not fair to you. But as a father, that's what you do. And once you get old enough, you recognize the sacrifice. I don't know how that guy did that because he must have been tired. But the reward is somebody like yourself staying on that straight and narrow and getting those championships 17 times. You know what I mean? Getting to the pros. And it sounds like the stuff you do outside the ring a lot translates inside the ring. And I'll get into that. I say that because your patience. You're young and you're not trying to eat up your opponent in the first 5-10 seconds. Are those knockouts phenomenal and great to see? Yes. But is that every boxing match you'll ever have going up? No, especially in the professional ranks, right? So something I thought I really liked when I was watching some of your sparring was you have a piston-like jab. And that sounds overused, but at 20 years old to know I'm gonna keep shooting that out so crisp, so sharp, and not lazy. That to me speaks maturity inside the ring because you're only 20 years old and you're going to learn every time. Every new boxing outing is an experience, I'm sure you know. But it's not like a lazy jab. And then something that came to mind when I was watching that is when Brandon Rios fought Danny Garcia. And it's not so much about who it was. It was just that guy, Rios, threw out a lazy jab and got countered real fast. And what was cool is your fundamentals, like your coach taught you the fundamentals from early. Your dad also layered on that success, and you being a learner, a student of the game, it was crazy because you throw it out and it's crisp, it's sharp, and it's unlocking and being the key to your other work. So I saw that, and then the other thing that impressed me was the fundamentals of once you kind of get into range where you think the opponent is in range, the hands were always up, always, which was kind of cool because it's not like, well, I'm having success with the jab and I'm opening stuff and I'm pawing out with my left. You made sure to stay conscious that success doesn't mean that I don't need defense. And so I was just so impressed. One question, I know that was a little bit of a long rant, but where do you get your cardio? Because when I was watching that, it looked like you looked like, hey, I'm doing nothing but what I do every day of my life. But would you attribute the cardio to the work you're doing outside the ring on the road? Or is that something you've always been blessed? Is it because you're not old like I am and you're just young? That impressed me the most. Where does the cardio come from? That motor was there.
That's a great question, because I train like crazy, I run like crazy. My exercise, I train 2-3 times a day, every day. So that's a great question. Why? Because I feel like a lot of athletes, I don't know if it's just me, but a lot of athletes really do train hard. Everyone eats healthy. If you really want to be a successful athlete, you kind of have to put in the road work. You have to put in the strength and condition. You have to put in everything, which I do boxing work all the time, without a doubt. But I feel like where we kind of lose some of the athletes is just the calmness. It's really just the mental game, because if you're overthinking, if you're over tense, if you're over tight, if you're doing everything, super, tense, you waste a lot of unnecessary energy. You do a lot of unnecessary movements. So as long as you're calm, you're confident in your abilities, Mamba mentality, he was like, I don't train because, I need to train. It's because I train because I want to be confident in the game. You know what I mean? So things like that. Like when I hop in there, there's not a split second of my mind that has doubt that I can't throw this, or that, I'm doubting myself. It's like, no, when I'm in there, it's calm, like all these Bruce Lee little, metaphors, like be like water, all that stuff. It really does, feel like that. It's like, as if you really know the game, it's simple, it's calm, it's meditate, it's a dance. So really that cardio just comes from me being relaxed and me being able to use my energy efficiently. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense, because like you said, that's why I'm very impressed with a lot of stuff that I've seen from you. You're so young, but you have a lot of obviously amateur background, boxing, 300 plus fights, maybe losing only less than 15 is what I was looking at. So like 285 plus wins, it's crazy. But because of that, all that time in there that's what you're learning. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it wasn't always like that. I'm sure you got there based on some lessons learned tough, but if you learn from the lesson, it's not really a loss, because you're at where you're at now, highly touted, highly sought after, and you do a lot of veteran things so early into your career. Even Diego Pacheco was watching you and said he's got a very good pro style. A lot of times we see amateurs and they're trying to throw punches and bunches. You're sitting down, you're throwing your jab out there, jab, level changes, giving them different looks, throwing something out there to see if they're falling for certain feints. And the other, besides the cardio, that I really recognize myself, and I'm nowhere near you guys, but something that shined through, besides the piston-like jab, the calmness, the cardio, was so young, you made the ropes your ally, which I thought was so impressive, because you're pushing, you're using your footwork, and that guy's running out of real estate, and the ropes are now there, and you're like, now I'm going to use the ropes to help me, and we're going to squeeze this fool. And I'm not saying fool as in bad disrespect. I mean, whoever it is, you know what I mean? Whether we like him, we don't like him, he's your opponent. Like, you're on the show, so now we're always going to be fans. But hey, we're here to box. At the end of the day, it's a fight. You know what I mean? You want to box nice, but I'm going to use these ropes, these four ring ropes. You're going to find me. I'm going to find you. And when you do that, you don't camp out there. You immediately start going to work, which I thought was very impressive. Every time you made the ropes your ally. And that's something you don't always see in young fighters. They get there and they just want to be in a phone booth and throw. But it's like, what did you set up? You know what I mean? And when I watched a lot of that sparring, because you use the ropes as your ally, because you open the doors with the jab, the piston-like jab, it just started creating so many more things, and so many things started opening up. What kind of, I guess, is it because you're amateur experience that you're like, okay, I don't have to rush this. I'm going to fight my fight, and whoever's there, they're just going to systematically get broken down.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a mental game, you know, like they're going to get broken down mentally, and I'm going to make them second guess themselves and second guess their abilities. So by the time I feel like they're on the ropes, it's like they're in their head. They're like, okay, this punch is coming, so I'm obviously going to take advantage of it. I do think it's, definitely comes with a lot of experience. I'm always sparring. I'm always, a ton of amateur experience. So definitely comes for that. Just, everything that I do when it comes to sparring, when it comes to hitting the bag, mitts. I'm sure a lot of fighters say it. Veterans say it all the time. If you're in the gym, if you're sparring, if you're doing anything, and you're doing everything with the intention of setting something up, with the intention of looking for certain opportunities, then everything's gonna be there for you. And I'm always sparring, and I'm in the moment. I know exactly what's going on every second. I feel like I'm in control, and the moment you're out of control is the moment you're start to second guess yourself. So that's kind of what I feel like is what I input into my sparring. I'm always trying to be in control, always. And if I'm not in control, it's usually not that I'm not in control, but I'm obviously, looking up, setting up different, areas of the ring to, get back into my rhythm if the pace isn't at my pace. But, for the most part, I'm always in control. So I guess that's what it would be.
I like that you said that, because I've heard you give compliments to two fighters, which was Tank and Shakur. And the things you said about them are not the things that most people say. So with Shakur, they can say very talented and athletic and great boxing ability. With Tank, you could say power. The one thing that I noticed in your interviews that you said about both of them was they're very smart IQ fighters. Just they're very good chess players of the boxing game. So that to me tells me that a lot of it's mental for you. Obviously, you have to be athletically sound and ready to go, but that's half the battle, right? You're talking about when you're complimenting fighters, he's a smart fighter. That tells me that you're a smart fighter, because you're looking for certain things that are going to help you in the ring, as opposed to, well, I got a left hook and I got to win every fight with a left hook. You know what I mean? That's not how it always happens. And when you're a smart fighter, okay, plan A is out the window. We got to go to plan B, because I worked for that too. And my coach, we worked on B's out, so we got to go to C. So it's kind of refreshing, and it's nice to hear you say those things, that it's not like, well, I'm very athletic and that's how I win, or things like that. It's, no, I have to look at it. It's not just in the ring, it's also up here, which is very impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. Power and speed, they're good. Anything can happen in the boxing game. It's great, and you see it all the time. Fighters just get exposed because someone's stronger than them, faster than them. And if you're not locked in here, it's like, that's going to show later on in your career, because obviously power and speed, even muscle memory, like you could be experienced and have that muscle memory, and it could take you very far. But it's like, if you're not locked in, in every second, you have some sort of doubt in yourself, it's like it's going to catch up to you. So, I appreciate you kind of, because I feel like that's when people ask me, what makes you different? It's like, that's what makes me different, because I'm able to break you down in the ring, mentally before anything else. So that's kind of, I appreciate that.
I'll kick it to Aaron. I had one last question, and I'll make it a little like less boxing, more light, fun. And I apologize if you're trying to cut weight, because I know you're a big guy, but when you're not cutting weight and you're not trying to be closer to fighting range, what are some foods that you're liking out there in California that you're like, okay, when I get to be undisciplined today, this is what I'm going after?
I'm a big seafood guy, so I love ceviche, aguachiles, stuff like that. And those are excess sodium because of all the salt and lemon and stuff like that. But that's, we're close to the beach. It's always sunny over here, warm weather, just a nice, refreshing tostada, a little, shrimp cocktail. Those are amazing. So those are always the thing that kind of gets me. My mom's cooking, she's Hispanic, so a little bit of everything, man. Enchiladas, just pozole. She's always making stuff like that. So those are some of the things, machaca with the eggs in the mornings, and I just have to have my little avocado toast, thing of egg. But yeah, those are some of the things. And over everything though, I'm sure a lot of fighters could, back me up on this one. It's the sweets, it's the ice cream, the cookies, those are the stuff that you're just like, that you just kind of have to be like. This morning, actually, they want to go get donuts, and I'm cutting, I'm maintaining weight, and I'm just like, I can't really, not right now. So.
And I apologize because that's why I don't like asking the question during fight time for fighters, because you're like, I just thought of all those things and you just made my day 10 times harder. So that's why I said, if you're,
You're good, man. And he was like, I only asked one thing, and I'm over here like, I want them all, bro. You're good.
No, whatever you got for him, Aaron. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Great stuff, Steven. So Joel, I want to take you to your time with Team USA. So you were with them for 4 consecutive years. You were part of the 2018, 19, 20, 21 rosters, and you won multiple gold medals in international tournaments in Hungary and in Guadalajara. So in hindsight, looking back, what are some of your fondest memories fighting abroad?
It's a great experience, man. Obviously going international, things like that. One can only, starting at 5 years old, who would have thought I would have, made it that far? So, being at that moment, I was, grateful for even making it there. There, it's crazy because those international styles are different. You fight everyone, like even nowadays, they're sparring from in different gyms that, people from England or people from Ireland come out to spar over here, and it's just like, that's fresh meat. That's different styles that you've never seen before. So you go out there to these international, tournaments, you fight people from Japan, India. I was in Hungary, so people from Hungary, England. You fight people from over there, and it's like, it's just a different view. I would say that it was good. I loved going to those tournaments because we would take our USA gear, and Japan has Mizuno. And we have Under Armour, and if you guys know, Mizuno is super expensive, So we would go to Japan, and we had our Under Armour shoes, and we would train them for the Mizuno $350 shoes. We trade our $100 shoes, and they would trade with us. So those are some of the fond memories, kind of just trading stuff with the international teams. But no, overall, those international tournaments are fantastic. I went to fight in Colombia for the Pan American Games, and just a different culture because. Although you're in the room locked up because you can't eat, because you can't travel, you have to rest, all those things that you can't really travel. But I took my family, and my family kind of lived the experience through me. And I was just, happy that they went. They were like, if there's one place we'd go again, it's Colombia. So, those are some memories that, make it worthwhile. So
can you tell them about your no ice over there? And what was that? Where was the no ice?
In Hungary, man. We were in Hungary, and we were done with the weigh-ins, and oh my God, your mouth is dry. It was humid. It was hot. I remember there was no fans, no AC, and it was like, oh my God, we were just looking to weigh in and eat. And that first day we got there, we were like, okay, we weighed in. Let's go grab some, orange juice with ice, water with ice. And it was like, just some lukewarm orange juice that was just like, oh my God. We're like, any ice? And they look at us like crazy. They were like, yeah, you can pay for a water bottle that was in the fridge that was, going to cost us. But they were like, what is ice? You know what I mean? So it was like, I guess ice is a luxury in countries like that. And it just goes to show you that we're very, very privileged to be over here and get ice. I can walk to my fridge and get ice anytime that I want. So. But yeah, it was crazy. No ice, man.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this. We're gonna open up an ice machine shop over there, and then we'll split all the money, and then I can retire.
Yeah, I'm cool with that, man. Those kids, I'm sure they would love that, man. Just imagine no ice baths. I feel like ice baths are cool too. Yeah.
It will be ice baths and raspas, and you show up and you get both. You can sit in there with it, and we'll make millions.
Give raspados, man. That would be good.
So, last year, 2023, you made that decision to go professional. Um, why did you choose at that time to turn pro? Because it could have been very well possible that you could have still delayed it, still go the Olympic route. But what was the main factor for you to making that decision then in 23? Looking back.
Yeah, man. The Olympic dream was always there. You know, the Olympic dream since I was 5 years old. If you would have asked me what I wanted more than anything, would have been that gold medal. And
Right.
you know, climbing up, just seeing how things evolve, things changed. You know, after the gold medal, if you would have asked me, would have been my next goal, would have been to be world champion. So being world champion is always the goal. That goal right there. That gold medal route was just, you know, it was very, very close. You know, and the good thing is that the end goal hasn't changed. Just a little bit of those, you know, little steps in between do change. But the end goal's still there. I want to be a world champion more than anything in multiple divisions. That really didn't. It was tough. It was a tough decision to make. But as I was getting older and as I was coming closer to, you know, to picking out what team I'm going to take with me into that next chapter of my career, I knew it was going to take a really, really long time. And I knew it was going to be
Right.
something that I needed to focus on and things that were going to be trial and error because, you know, the game's full of, you know, just a lot you know, things in your ear and a lot of things that you know, it's just a very cutthroat game. So you have to watch out for things like that. That's kind of why it's, you know, my career has, from the amateur into the professional career, has taken a little bit more time than I'd like, but it's kind of what's necessary. And that decision I made along with my dad when it was time to think about, do I want to get hit with a headgear and not get paid, or
Oh,
get hit without a headgear and get paid? So
very good point.
it was, you know, a pretty. It was an easy decision once we thought about it. Once we came to, you know, a conclusion, what was going to be best for me. Obviously, my dad, you know, being that he does what he does, and you know, and it was just like, you know, what do you see fit, and we kind of came to that conclusion together, and that's kind of what we decided.
Can I say that even though like you it might seem like a long time, you're very young, so you got all the time in the world, trust me. But it's so important because look at even Floyd. He got into a contract, wasn't something that was right for him, and then had to buy himself out. So what's a little bit more time to make the right choice for you? You know what I mean? You could say it happens all the time. People can get cars of all kinds, but hey, I need a minivan for the lifestyle I live. You know what I mean? You could have a yellow Corvette, and that's all great and good. But for me, this is my choice, and this is what helps in my daily life. You also could live on a farm to where that Corvette does you no good. So it just really depends on what caters to you and the life that you're trying to live, that you're trying to pursue. And when it's all said and done, what happened for me and my family, that was the best. So
No,
props to you for taking your time. Don't let anything else or anybody else's journey. And I know you don't, but think it's taking a little bit of time. Hey, if it's the right choice, that's all that matters for
yeah,
you.
I'm 20 years old, and it's 5 year commitments. You know what I mean? Those are 5 year commitments. In 5 years, I'm gonna be 25. By then, I should be at my peak, trying to fight for a world title. And if, you know, things don't look right, you know, that's 5 years that could have gone to waste. 5 years, you know, of little details in between that might have held me back. So those are things that I've always, you know, been looking into. But we got something, you know, coming soon. So hope, you know, we'll get something here come soon.
So are you maybe possibly hinting at maybe a fight date coming out in the future?
We got something soon. That's what I can say. That, you know, this
Oh,
stuff is wrapping up. This stuff is already wrapping up. I know I said that a couple times, but this one is coming to an end. We should have something within these next couple of days. So yeah. So hopefully we got something
So
soon.
that's big time. So Aaron's in California. I'll fly out there sometimes when there's fights out there. So for some friends of ours that we like, Aaron comes to Texas because there's San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. We try and go everywhere. So let us know, and one of us, some of us, a representative from somewhere will be out there with bells, whistles, everything. I'll bring the ice So you know you don't have to pay me back, but I got you for the ice. Aaron, not he's a freeloader, so don't worry about that. But I got you for the ice, and whatever we can do, we'll be there to support. Just because that's how we like to be. We have tons of friends of the show. We're not that style that tries weird trapping questions. Man, we're out here to grow you, the fighter, your team, highlight Field of Dreams, things that are going on in your life that just overall we want to be there, we want to support. So we're excited. I'll be on pins and needles. Aaron will as well. But yeah, man, that's awesome news.
My guys, for sure, without a doubt. As soon as we get this locked in, you guys are the first ones I'm telling.
So Joel, I kind of like I want to give an analogy. So it's kind of like like a business, like an entrepreneur. He's locked down the real estate. He's locked down the business license. He has the building. He has the merchandise. He has basically he's planting his seeds in the field. He's excited now. Liking that to you, I bet you're really anxious at this point because you got you got the mental game there. Your amateur career extensive. So you have everything in motion. So what are your feelings right now at this moment as you anticipate your first professional fight?
I feel excited, man. It's a little bit of everything, like you said. Everything is laid out. The plants were the seeds were planted. It's time to harvest. You know what I mean? It's time to
Yeah.
go. That's what's mine, and that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling anxious to kind of make that next step and kind of just showcase the world. The good of boxing, make boxing great again, and that's me. Make those exciting fights. Everything that I feel like boxing was, at a point where it was just like, what's going on right now? But I'm coming, and I feel like my style is very entertaining, especially in this professional with a little bit more patience, more rounds, and I feel like it's gonna be a great ride. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Also, I saw in some YouTube video that you were in it. I believe you crossed paths with Robert Garcia in some capacity. Any advice that has he impart on you, and if so, can you share that with us?
Definitely, my guys. Just Robert Garcia. He has an extended, professional trainer. He's a great trainer, multiple world champions. Just very, very wise, inside the ring, outside the ring. I guess he's just, he's kind of showed me a little bit of the ropes of what it's like, in the game and how it works a little bit. So, because of him, it's been one of those lessons, which I'm very appreciative, of that. We did cross paths, and we're very good friends to date. So, I appreciate him for that.
Can I add a question?
Um,
So I know you're a musician. You play the accordion, correct?
yes, sir.
I saw that you like corridos. You have your stuff kind of getting ready to go. So I'm sure maybe you've thought, maybe you haven't. Have you thought of a walkout song? Because to me, that's pretty cool stuff. When you're like, I'm gonna come out to this. This one gets me going, and when I hear that, it just puts me on. Have you thought a little bit about maybe like a walkout song, stuff like that?
I have like five like walkout songs that I've really thought about. They're all corridos, all Spanish. It's really the only thing that I listen to. A little bit of English for sure, no doubt. But I have like five, man. Probably something very. It's gonna be great, man. I've thought about them all super upbeat. I feel like it's gonna get the crowd, riled up, rallied up, and me myself. I love stuff like that. So I've thought about five, all corridos. I don't know. Off the jump, I want maybe some Gerardo Ortiz, some Luis Conriquez, maybe something like that, Panther. But it's five of them. But that's a great question. I'm actually in the thought process of that too. I'm like, what would be the one that I'm gonna go to?
Has there ever been a fighter that because some more stuff I saw is you watch fights with your grandfather, your father. Me and Aaron talked a little bit about who is the guy right now, Hector Camacho. With the way he was a showman. Has there ever been like a walkout that you're like, oh, oh, that was pretty cool. Even Bud Crawford, you said some English too. Bud Crawford had Eminem announce him. Obviously, that's major. But are there ever some where you're like, oh, that props to that guy. That was pretty slick.
That was cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel like walking out with artists are. I mean, that's one thing that I would dream of too. Just walking out with one of some of my favorite artists. Because I'm not really big into like celebrities and stuff like that, but like artists, I listen to music all the time. That's one of the things that you, as an athlete, you listen to every day. Music. That's gets you in your zone. So I mean, I definitely been like, damn, I could see myself walking out to this guy, things like that, which is cool. I really like Prince Ahmed's walkouts too, though, like on the carpet and all those like different walkouts. Those are cool. I feel like he kind of had something going for him.
Now, at the same time, you got to be careful because we've had some Deontay Wilder stuff where it's like, okay, that one kind of cost me because now you're saying, oh, my legs, that outfit was too much. So I guess it's a fine line of great showmanship and what we talked about earlier. I had too much nervous energy in that. I was too hyped. I was too excited. My heart rate was going too much. So it's kind of like what we talked about, the mental, making sure your energy is going right. So it's kind of both, but that's cool that you think about that, especially as you grow, you have your success. Those celebrities, they're all ringside. I go there and even I'm like, oh, that's so and so, and it's kind of cool and it's kind of crazy because eventually you'll be there very soon to where those people are there to see you. Wow, which is really cool and I think humbling. I would think if you're a fighter, you're like, oh man, I've listened to you since I was X years old in the backyard at the barbecue, and now you're possibly walking me out or you're at my fight here to see me, especially if they're in Cali, like there's a lot of celebrities out there.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely exciting stuff, man. I mean that's only something one could even dream of. Having that recognition by other people in different, whether they're in different sports or different arenas of life. So something like that would be unbelievable for sure. That'd be cool. It's exciting stuff.
So I know you're with Sheer Sports Management, and shout out to Jorge Zarate who helped broker this interview. So shout out to him. So on that note, how did that collaboration come about with that management team, Sheer Sports, and yourself?
Yeah, my guys, Shield Sports, you know what I mean? It's like family, and that's one of the things that when you're making partnerships, it's really about, oh, we're not making a business partnership. It's like, okay, we want to make a partnership where it really ties into our best interest for each other. You know what I mean? My
Mm.
dad, I tell him all the time, it's like we need someone that cares for me and wants me to succeed as much as you do. You know what I mean? And that's when you go into get partnerships and teams and stuff like that. You're looking for those type of people, and that's what I found in Sheer Sports. So my guys, I can't even say much. It's just nothing but gratitude for everything that they do for me, everything that they've done for me. It's a very very well rounded team. I feel like they're the best in the game. Sure Sports management team. It's not, oh, we got one manager, especially people having the little ego and stuff, and
Right.
one manager. It gets a little tough, around those lines. But thankfully, I have a great team, and I feel like taking along with Sheer Sports, we're gonna do big things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
Yeah. Oh, and
I
then I guess
oh,
for
go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad.
yeah, my bad. And then for how it kind of came about is my guy that you were mentioning, George Sarate. He went in
Mhm.
to see me spar one day. He went to see me spar, and he'll tell you that he wanted to see he wanted to see someone else. He wanted to see another prospect, and he was just like, "Wait, whose glove is that smacking? Whose leather is that?
Right.
Like, what is that sound? It sounds different." He'll tell you, and he was just like, "Hey, bro, I seen you," and I was just like, "Hey, that's different." And he kind of just followed along with my my career in the amateur and then my sparring stuff, and you know my
Wait,
guy.
so you're saying before he physically saw you, he first heard the sounds that were coming off
He heard the
your
leather. He'll tell
lips?
you, he's like, if you talk to him, he'll be like, when you go to his fight, as soon as you hear that leather, you're gonna be like, that's different. So that's my guy. Much love for George. He's one of the key pieces of this connection. So my guy, I'm nothing but love for that guy.
Awesome, awesome. Stephen, before we close out, do you have any last thoughts or questions you may have for Joel?
No, just to kind of what your manager said, like when you're in there, when you're sparring, this from what I saw, you could just tell it's very different. It's very special. You got that pro style. It looks like you've been doing it for forever, and it's because you have. It's just now we're in a different level. So I'm super excited to hear your announcement. Again, the first thing that jumped out for me was your the League of Dreams stuff that you have going on. To me, I look at the character of a fighter, not so much can he jab, can he hook, does he have good footwork? Because how many thousands of people that you saw in the amateurs in other countries have all that. But what are the tangibles that make you as a fighter different? What are some of the things that you do outside the ring that I want to follow on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube? What are those things that are going to say, I got to go to his next fight? And you do those things that you've done. It's impressed me. And like I said, I'm older. I have 2 kids. So who are some fighters that I'd want my kids following? And a lot of the things you say are things that are very impressive at this age, that at the age that you're at now. So keep doing what you're doing. I've never met you or your parents, but I could tell that everybody from top to bottom has their heads on straight, and they've raised an extremely well-rounded young man that the sky's the limit for you. So, I'm excited to hear where it's at. Hopefully if it's close to Aaron, I can sleep on his couch or something, and he can drive me to the fight. And like I said, I'm excited, and just keep doing what you're doing, and sky's the limit.
Appreciate that a lot, man. The guy you get here is the guy you get behind closed doors all over the place. So, I appreciate that. It means a lot. So I try to be, the best role model. We have a lot of kids that train in our backyard too. And a lot of those kids look up to me as well. So again, like I'm telling you, I try to be that same guy that I am, on camera is the same person you're going to get, in closed, anywhere else. So I try, just be a good person overall. And I appreciate that for sure.
Awesome, awesome. So that's going to be it for episode 99. Again, Joel Iriarte, thank you so much for accepting our invite to be on the show. We're very much anticipating, excited about your upcoming pro debut. Any last words, shout outs you want to give out to our audience before we sign out?
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate you guys for having me. Shout out to my team, Sheer Sports. Shout out to all my sponsors that have, contributed into my success. All my Instagrams, Joel Iriarte _ on Instagram. And then I have a website, joeliriarte.com. I'm going to be posting giveaways, tickets to my fight, little things like that. You'll get insights to what I do outside of the ring. So, all the stuff that we talk about will be, published on there. We'll get some exclusive merch, shirts, obviously. Those fight shirts, those exclusive fight shirts for the pro debut and for, fights like that, I'll have available on there. So you subscribe, you get newsletters, mental insights, motivation, little things that I like to talk about and kind of just get out into the world. But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys again for having me. I appreciate it. I'm very fond of, I've been doing a couple podcasts, but I appreciate you guys and I appreciate you guys' questions. So excited to be back.
We like to try and be the best. Aaron's very humble, and I'm very much
the opposite. He's like the polar opposite.
We missed out on one of our other guys because he's actually in the service in Korea. Is it, or what? Do we know Aaron?
Yeah, he's stationed in Korea.
So me and him are always going back and forth and name calling, and he's ugly, so it's easy to spar with him verbally. But we like to have fun, man. And like I said, thank you so much for showing up, being here, and we can't wait to see the merch because I buy it. You can see my buddy Hexar from HBO at Top Rank. Like, you post it, man. I'm a fan of people. So when those people have stuff and projects, we're all about it. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for having the time for us because, like I said, you're going to be pulled in thousands of different directions as you grow, and just to be able to say, hey, we got to interview you once, and we'll hopefully get to do it in the future. Thank you so much.
No doubt. Appreciate you guys.
Awesome. So And I'll be sure to put your website information in the description of the YouTube video stream. I'll be sure to put that out there for our audience as well. So again, Yoel Iriarte, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. Very much appreciated and very much excited for your first fight. So that's going to be episode 99 of the Standing 8 podcast. Thank you everyone who caught this live stream. Again, I'm Aaron Sorial from Los Angeles. With me, Stephen Ruiz, and the one and only Yoel Iriarte out in Bakersfield, California. Be on the lookout for any. And he has an imprint. It's coming soon. His pro debut. So we're very much excited about that. So again, from all of us to all of you, this is the Standing 8 podcast. Signing out. Peace.